You know who did not look like a playoff team to me in the
God.
NFL as we're switching gears?
Everybody.
Everybody.
A whole
Man,
bunch of teams.
I loved watching Troy Aikman in as nice a way as possible yesterday in the pregame show for Monday Night Countdown. He basically said, we saw some bad quarterbacking this week. I mean, it was really, really bad.
Also, though, a symptom of 3 regular season games, or rather 3 preseason games.
That none of them playing.
Being condensed. They don't play in them. There's no more 2-a-days. Training camp has gotten, I'm not going to say soft, but training camp has changed. Preseason has changed. These guys don't hit their stride until we're into October.
Sure. Yeah. This first game of the season, especially since they went to 17, is ultimately a preseason game. It is. And we saw that across the board. Although I do think there are some people that are not going to bounce back. Like, I'm not worried about Joe Burrow. I know that Patriots fans are living their best life. In fact,
an anomaly.
Let's play a little game. I got this email today.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know.
Teed up Patriots, this can go anywhere.
This email is courtesy of a company called Loyalty Stars. And essentially, they go and they count all of the tweets surrounding a respective football team.
Okay.
And they estimate who are the happiest fan bases and who are the saddest fan bases based on these tweets. You tell me, based on the number of positive tweets, which is the saddest, angriest, pissed off fan base in all of NFL?
Based off of after just this week, I mean,
after watching their games, these fans were tweeting.
Packers can't be happy right now. Jordan Love's going to miss multiple weeks, and they lost to the Eagles.
Not even close.
And what did we talk about last week? I said somebody's going to get hurt because that dog.
You said it.
Whenever they take these things international, they don't care about the safety of these players. And now you're talking about a top 6 quarterback in the league having to miss multiple weeks. Thank goodness it wasn't, a tear of any sort, according to, our people here at ESPN. But he is going to miss multiple weeks due to a knee injury. If it's not the Packers, I'm guessing. Well, the Giants, they expect futility.
I'm gonna have you pick the top 5 angriest fan bases. You hit it, and the Giants are in there.
Giants, I'll just say the Jets because it's New York, and even though Aaron Rodgers stayed healthy the whole game, the way you teed it up, are the Patriots mad for some reason?
No. Think about
the Browns can't be happy.
Think about some of the teams that you saw that were just absolute. Who was the most dog team we saw all weekend long?
The Giants.
No. You're forgetting about them. And that's the worst part, is that this team is not only bad, but they're irrelevant. The Panthers.
The Panthers. First interception on his first play. Yeah.
They looked like a college team. They looked like an FCS school playing in the NFL. There is nothing positive there. And alas, they are still not the angriest fan base.
Really?
You ready? Angriest fan base. This is according to Loyalty Stars, that again looks at all the tweets. Angriest fan base based on the number of positive tweets, the Raiders.
Angry.
Interesting.
It's
It's pretty hopeless for them.
Okay, yeah.
The Panthers at number 2.
Okay.
The Jacksonville Jaguars
Whoa.
at number 3. Number 4, I was a little surprised by this. I was a little surprised by this because honestly, I thought the idea that they were competing for as long as they did was a miracle.
Broncos?
The Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals. Yeah.
Angry fan base there.
Yeah.
Not happy with what they saw from the Cardinals. And then the top 5, rounding them out, would be the New York Giants that looked completely abysmal and bleak. And yes, in terms of importance of anger, it would be the Giants over a team like the Panthers, who are a small market team that literally you forgot about and forgot they existed completely.
That's why I teed it up like that. I was thinking more, what cities are the insufferable cities? And you can clump the 2 New Yorks. Boston, generally speaking, they're upset. The Green Bay actually has reason to be upset. I didn't think about the teams that are just happy to be here, like the Carolinas and the Jacksonville.
Still angry.
And the Jacksonville.
Still angry. Okay. Conversely, top 5 happiest fan bases based on positive tweets after week 1. Give me your top 5.
It's not the Bears because Caleb Williams played like straight up doo-doo.
He looked horrible.
We were not expecting wins from New England, so New England got to be up there.
They're top 6.
The Cowboys definitely are up there.
No.
God dang. Gotta love what you saw out of Houston.
Yeah.
Texans, okay.
And honestly, I think you love what you saw out of Anthony Richardson. That throw was insane.
68
that
air
throw,
yards?
it looked like the Gatorade commercial with Mike Vick, where like people for 5 minutes were like, did he really throw that football out of that stadium? It actually looked like that.
I remember the Michael Vick Experience Nike commercial. That thing was sick. Yeah, I mean, there was 16 teams that won, so this could be one of so many of them. Hit me.
Okay. Number 5.
I'm not going to say Kansas City, though, because they expect to win. So
sure.
Keep Kansas City.
They're in there, but number 5, the Bucks.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, they're feeling real good after they're watching what's happening in the Browns. You didn't want Baker Mayfield for a little bit of money. You wanted Deshaun Watson for all that. Look at Baker out here doing his thing.
And hey, listen, I know that the accusations are super serious, but something about that coming out the day after got me thinking,
The timing.
The timing on the Deshaun Watson thing is very curious, and that's all I'll say.
I would say that conspiracy theorists are saying, these things are popping up so that the Browns, if they want to clutch their pearls, can. But that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. When 23 and counting women came out,
but not if it's
and you not only said, we believe him and we believe in him,
that's true,
that we're going to sign him, you made him the highest paid quarterback in history when it was completely unnecessary to do so.
Now, is
that ship has sailed. You don't get to clutch your pearls now and go, well, now that we know he's not good, I guess we care about these things. You already showed you don't care.
Is the timeline different? October 2020, that was still the alleged incident, the new one that came to light, October 2020, that still falls in the same timeline as the other one?
Yes.
The other 23?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So then never mind.
Yeah.
But it was curious timing.
Yeah.
Very curious.
Probably fair. Number 4, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
I think they should feel pretty good about what they saw.
I mean, after losing last year's season opener, okay, cool.
Yes.
Tough game.
Number 3, which was interesting to me, of the happiest fan bases, the Eagles. Now, I understand that they're happy that like Saquon looks to be all as advertised, right? Yes. They went all in. They spent the money, more money than they've ever spent on a running back, and it paid dividends right away.
Return on investment was there.
Right away, especially on a Packers team that you can run on. You can run on the Packers, and I predicted Saquon would have a big night. I'm a little intrigued by this just because most people's biggest takeaway after that game, or at least what people keep saying to me, is what is wrong with Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, I don't like that.
What is up with Jalen Hurts? Like, is he broken? I heard that multiple times. So it feels like a cautiously optimistic situation. So to see that they were the 3rd happiest fan base, again, you start with a win. That's what you want.
Yeah.
But the Eagles do this. I mean, they started out with 10 wins last year. They were 10-1 before they faltered down the stretch. I am concerned that Jalen Hurts is doing the same thing that Lamar Jackson does that we saw after that Thursday night game. I hope that Jalen and Lamar are not motivated by the discourse and narrative that has unfairly followed them since college, that they can't make the big throws. That has been something that Jalen Hurts has faced down from when he was in Alabama and then subsequently got benched when he was coming out. And we know that's been an issue for Lamar. People saying he can't throw. I hope that in an effort to stop that discourse, that they're not forcing the issue, because there was multiple times I'm watching that Eagles game and I'm going, why isn't he running? Why isn't he just doing the thing that makes him Jalen Hurts and scrambling or moving around or getting out of the pocket? It felt like he is beholden. It feels like in his mind, he's like, I'll be damned. I'm going to live and die by being a pocket passer. I'm going to show you that I can throw this ball. Lamar Jackson kept the Ravens in that game on Thursday because of his and one mixtape ability. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't scramble and run for his life, that's a blowout. And ultimately, I just hope that's not in the back of their mind in some way. Because last year we excused Jalen's immobility by being like, he's coming off tightrope surgery. Like maybe, they're trying to be cautious. Yeah. They need to make. But watching that game, I'm thinking, it's clear you can run on this Packers team. Why aren't you running more?
Interesting. I didn't see it like that. I saw it as Saquon Barkley is there to be the guy who runs. And as far as the discourse about not making the throw, Friday morning on SportsCenter, we were like, Lamar Jackson could have tied this game by hitting Zay Flowers. He was wide open in the back.
100%. And I was critical of him too.
Not making the throw, it's not an undeserved criticism.
Sure.
And I don't think Jalen Hurts threw a couple darts. One of the 3 to Saquon Barkley. So I think maybe because they went out and got Saquon Barkley to take the load off of Jalen Hurts having to run the ball. So, interesting.
And your last 2 happiest fan bases per Loyalty Stars.
Okay. Shout out Loyalty Stars, man. You getting some free run here on
the
you
are.
Show.
Number 2, the Minnesota Vikings, which I 100% get that. Okay. You won a game with Sam Darnold as your quarterback. With Sam Darnold as your quarterback, you won a game? You won a game? You better tweet your little happy off. You feel great. You thought your season was over when JJ McCarthy went down? You got Sam Darnold. And finally,
they were playing the Giants. So
well, yeah.
We could have played quarterback.
But listen, Vikings know it could get real nasty real quickly. So they're gonna tweet their happy off at first.
Okay.
And the happiest fan base in the NFL. Come on, man.
The Patriots?
No. We're going to bite their kneecaps, and then we're going to bite their ankles, and then we're going to rip their eyeballs out. The Lions, the happiest fan base. And you can understand why. I mean, they looked really, really good against the Rams. Really good against the Rams.
Yeah, okay.
They picked up, I think, the question marks for the Lions, especially for a team that we always say act like you've been there before. Well, they just haven't. And I think the question mark for the Lions was, could they continue what they started at the end of last year, that role that they went on before it subsequently ended in the postseason? Like, could they do all of that? And they picked up right where they left off. And everything is clicking. Their defense looked nasty.
Yeah.
Jared Goff was humming with his receivers. The running game was going. They paid Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I think they're the happiest because it's like, this was not an anomaly. Last year was not an anomaly. Like, this team is as advertised.
Got it. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would expect Detroit to be happy because, again, they are one of those, hey, we've been here 3 days. Last year's success was an anomaly, and they're just trying to continue it. I don't see why they wouldn't be the happiest fan base in the league.
How do we feel about what the Jets fan base is feeling today? I'm not going to lie. I turned on this morning on Get Up just to see.
What are they talking about?
How's Greeny feeling? I think it's measured. Honestly, Aaron Rodgers looked fine to me.
Aaron Rodgers.
I thought he looked fine. Their defense, I'm not sure
that. It was a touch porous. They didn't have any answers for our guy, JM.
They had Jordan Mason. Yeah, Georgia Tech's finest.
Damn.
Undrafted.
That's crazy.
He's found himself at a bit of a brain pretzel too. Have you seen what's going on with him and Kyle Shanahan?
No.
So, of course, you're supposed to, give injury updates.
Yeah.
It can't be gamesmanship.
Oh,
You've got to
he said that he knew by Friday.
By Friday, he would be starting.
And Kyle Shanahan was like,
that's not true. This was a game time decision. And now there's a little... Then they asked Jordan about it in his post game, and he got in a little bit of a brain pretzel, and he's like, I don't want to answer this question because I always get in trouble. So a little bit of, when did Kyle Shanahan know that Christian McCaffrey would not be starting? Because this came as a surprise to everyone, including all the fantasy owners that wanted to riot because they thought Christian McCaffrey would be playing, and it said it was Jordan Mason. The positive thing to happen is that he's certainly going to get picked up on some waiver wires. A career high 28 carries, 147 yards, a touchdown, and just the sixth Niner since 1970 to post 100+ rushing yards in his first career start. He was fantastic. That Jets defense had no answer for him. The rush defense was pretty bad, and we saw that. Do I think that Hassan Reddick could have helped him in that? Probably not, but he definitely could have helped them in terms of the pass rush, which was also paltry. But that defense certainly let them down. Aaron Rodgers, I thought, looked fine.
When Aaron Rodgers made a couple of throws across the middle, hitting Allen Lazard and Breece Hall, and I was thinking to myself, holy smokes, dude. Aaron Rodgers still has like the zippiest ball in the NFL. He's lost none of that.
Sure.
It did look like he was a touch pensive with a couple of those rollouts and a couple of those bootlegs that he was like, ooh, I don't want any contact.
Yes.
And like everybody's looking at, where he's throwing it. And I'm like looking at his lower body like, dude, don't pop. Aaron Rodgers looks good. The one thing that we didn't think we'd have to question the Jets defense was the area of the game that was a touch porous. That was weird.
Sauce Gardner going down for a little bit of time when he said he got the wind knocked out of him, had a big impact. Brock Purdy was 6 for 6 on that drive. But the biggest problem is, yes, this lays at the feet of the Jets defense. Not only did the Niners dominate time of possession, 38 minutes to 21 minutes, but they went on 8 straight scoring drives. They didn't punt after like the first quarter. That is a problem in particular because Aaron Rodgers has said time and time again that he chose the Jets because they had a defense that would always keep you in a game. So while they sorted out whatever was happening on the offense, which was a nightmare, they always had that, and it was reliable, and it was in no way reliable for them last night. But I would also say this. You guys, this is a Niners team that is a perennial Super Bowl contender. Correct. And so what I hope this does is level set the Jets a little bit. We just assumed that Aaron Rodgers showing up would mean they're a contender. We were shown yesterday in real time that they are not. That making a playoff game, making the postseason would be really big for the Jets. But the idea that they're competing with the Niners, the Chiefs, sort of the class right now, to me, at this point, still game one, we don't have to write the book yet, But that to me is like, that was a level set game. That was a measuring stick. And you see that you are not in the same league as them.
It's funny you mentioned Hassan Reddick, Elle. And listen, we don't know what it's like to cash an NFL paycheck, but this dude's getting whacked for $800,000 every game that he misses, and he's already stuck for $5 million in fees. Probably make me want to go back to work ASAP with the quickness. But nobody liked seeing the Jets lose, or rather 49ers win, more than Hassan Reddick. Because he was sitting back last night probably counting new stacks that he has not made yet based off of how the 49ers were basically able to have their way.
It's the Chris Jones effect. Like Chris Jones did this last year for the Chiefs. He sat out the first game.
He was sitting in the skybox.
Sitting in the skybox
with his agent. That was nuts.
Watching them get picked apart. They lose the season opener last year on ring night. And guess what? That contract came real quick afterwards, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing can be said for Hassan Reddick, which is sort of what he's been able to do. Now, when you look at a situation like a Jamar Chase, because to me, that was the biggest disappointment of the season. Early season.
Oh, God.
How the Bengals looked.
Lost.
I mean, they looked bad. Yeah. And for as much like goodwill and good juju on the Patriots side, and like good for Gerard Mayo, I'm glad he finally got his win. Jacoby Brissett, and they had their moment pregame where Gerard's like, "You're going to win this game. Don't you be nervous. You're going to win this game." And they did, and all of that. I still don't think the Patriots are like a good team. But that's incredibly disappointing. And if you're Jamar Chase, you've done this thing where you're like, okay, I'm going to hold out. I'm going to give him a little bone by showing up at practice. Never mind. They're getting too confident. Yeah. I'm going to hold out. Okay, I'm going to play, but like, I'm not going to get a contract up, but I expect he lost a lot of his leverage in that way because he was in that game. And despite the fact that he really hasn't been at training camp, their offense was completely ineffective. Yeah. And so I think as opposed to sitting out with contractitis, you played and they didn't win. And I don't think that, listen, Jamar Chase has nothing left to prove. The man has already proven that he is one of the best, if not the best receivers in the league, and he's going to get paid. That is incredibly disappointing for a Bengals team that we keep putting at the top of the list of real legitimate contenders. And it's either been spoiled by injuries time and time again, or by attrition or whatever it looks like. I just expected a better showing from the Bengals.
Hey, listen, Joe Mixon going for 160, 30 carries and a couple touchdowns for Houston. They probably wish they had that. Elle, I want to start this new thing because you know how so many of our people are like, all right, preseason Super Bowl predictions, and then they have to live and die by those predictions. We don't have to play by the same rules.
No.
I want week-to-week Super Bowl predictions.
Okay.
So based off of what you saw yesterday, who is going to be, and this is going to change next week.
Sure.
It doesn't have to change next week.
I love it.
Who's in your Super Bowl after week 1?
The Chiefs and the Lions.
Whoa, I'm completely different.
Wow, okay.
Texans, 49ers.
Texans Niners.
Texans look good. We'll revisit this next week.
Yeah.
It could change.